Hello everyone, welcome back to B-Roll Commentary. It's our first video of 2019, and since the holidays kind of messed up our whole schedule for talking about what comics have caught our interest and everything, we've decided that we are going to do a 2018 in review, talking about everything that we didn't really get a chance to because of how late in the year we actually started doing these things. But as always, I'm John.
I'm Gary.
And I'm Joa.
And does anyone have any place particular they want to start us off with?
I have something I want to say.
Okay.
These two are going to kill me, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you have a better name for this channel, please list it for us, because we're talking about a whole lot more than B-roll commentary. So, please. Not that I don't like the name, it's just that we're talking about a whole lot more than just movies.
Yeah, no, I like our name.
I know you do.
Yeah, same there. I like
Yeah, you came up with it. That's why you like it, Joe.
it. Anyway, for subject matters, I think we'll stick with movies first off. What does everybody think is their best movie of the year?
Best movie of the year?
We haven't seen that many this year.
Yeah.
We
2018 was not amazing for me. I mean, I liked the new Halloween they did pretty good. I liked Hellfest pretty good.
I haven't seen anything new.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
It probably wins my vote for best. I mean,
Well, here's why I bring that up. On the
No.
day we're recording this,
oh, are you going to talk about
which is January 22nd, Tuesday, is the day they announced the Oscar nominations.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the Black Panther where everyone's like kind of annoyed at that.
So I'm bringing up movies in general because we now know at least who's going to be chosen from, is what I'm talking about. So when we look at Best Picture, which is generally what I'm asking when I say Best Movie of the Year, the nominations, and if you've listened to one of our
Episode we did on.
on 1986 was our first year.
Yeah, Hindsight Cinema.
So Hindsight Cinema, our first episode is 1986. We kind of went off the Oscars just as a general, what did they do, what was done, and then I think we went into more, but we'll do that whenever we reflect back on 2018.
Yeah, we don't normally agree with the Oscars.
No, but it at least gives you a good pulse of the year,
Yeah.
particularly post 99, really.
That's a fair point.
Or pre 99, I should say. So this year, Best Picture was just announced as it's going to either be Black Klansman,
Okay. So comedy.
Bohemian Rhapsody,
So
musical,
musical, historical peaks, you know,
The Favorite, which is more historical than even Bohemian Rhapsody,
also true.
Green Book, which is one that I actually enjoyed.
Haven't seen it.
We'll come back to. Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice.
Okay.
So the one I left out is the one that John has already mentioned and is causing. I didn't realize how big a problem, but is going to cause problems, and that's Black Panther. Because when the other nominees were what I just named, Black Panther in a lot of ways does not fit in that category.
Well, it's not just that. They're talking about other things too. Like
Yeah.
it's in nomination for best visual effects, and I'm like, for crying out loud, Thanos was so well done CG wise. It was almost. I would have almost believed that it was all prosthetic work.
And let me tell you, Black Panther was an amazing movie.
Oh yeah.
It is probably my pick for best movie of the year, as my personal pick, because one, I'm a huge Black Panther fan.
Right,
I'm gonna go ahead and
same.
state that up front.
Same.
And two, when thinking to tell you how big of a Black Panther fan I am, when we started talking about Marvel getting the movies bought by Disney, we're talking years ago.
Yeah.
And we start hearing about, they're going to redo Hulk. and oh, Robert Downey Jr. just got signed to do Iron Man.
Mhm.
You know, we're talking still years ago from this point.
Yeah, a decade.
20 years ago, right? 2008.
That's
was-
not quite 20
Well,
years.
I mean, but 2008 was when Iron Man come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about a
So
decade.
we're talking. This would have been 3 or 4 years before
Okay,
that.
Yeah. So about,
Because we're just talking about,
About
the new.
15,
If
yeah.
you lived it, this is how it works. You
yeah,
know?
about 15.
Pick whatever movie's not out now that you know of that comes out in 3 years from when you're listening to this. That's how we lived this. So we lived the whole Disney acquisition from foreclosure due to Marvel bankruptcy, and we lived through. Are they going to do Marvel movies? And so this is how we're going. In all of that time, I never dreamed we would get a Black Panther movie. Black Panther wasn't B-list. Black Panther wasn't C-list. Black Panther was looked at as an unused character for the majority of that time in the comic books.
Yeah, he usually showed up as like not so much a sidekick, but the backup hero for Captain America.
the last Avenger to be chosen that year if they chose new
Yeah,
roster.
It
something.
just wasn't, which was not deserving of the character because the character was one of the more original characters designed, I think.
Yeah, because they could have very easily been like,
Um,
oh, well, just make him like a black Captain America, and they went a very different route. And I'm glad
Very
for that.
different route.
Yeah, and I'm really
and for
glad
somebody
that.
that kind of visually looks like Batman in a suit,
This is true.
is
deny it.
nothing like,
Like
Batman
Batman.
in a suit.
Yeah.
He's far from being a normal human.
Yeah.
And so anyway, point being, I just never dreamed it would happen. So when it came out, you know, now fast forward to 2018, it came out, and then it was amazing. Michael B. Jordan, Forrest Whitaker, you had Chadwick Boseman on, you had all the women in every woman in that movie was amazing. Most of which I didn't see prior to that movie, so I don't know their names as well. All the male cast I have seen prior to that, just as about, particularly the older male cast. The guy that played T'Challa was, I mean, it was just Anthony Hopkins level respect on screen is what he commanded. And the guy that played the young T'Challa, amazing too. Like I just the movie was great. So
Wait,
it's my best movie of the year.
Wait, when you say T'Challa, you mean the current Black Panther or his father?
His father,
Okay, T'Chaka.
T'Chaka.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So to me, it's my best movie of the year. When I pulled this list up today at work, in between my work, I pulled it up and I seen Black Panther in. And if you were here, you would pull it up and literally the first word under Best Picture is Black Panther because they do it all alphabetically. And I was blown away, and I thought, oh gosh, and I'm actually kind of mad because people are going to look at this and go, that was a racial move.
Yeah, they are.
And
Because there's been a lot of controversy about that in the past few years with the Oscars.
there has, and I hate it because that movie was excellent. And when you scroll down through to Green Book, which has the guy that won the previous years
And Viggo Mortensen.
and Viggo Mortensen, to me there's plenty of diversity coming in this particular year, especially that throwing this in there for that. And I know this sounds weird because I already said it's my favorite picture, but when you look at the rest of this list, which we'll get into as we go, they're very obviously this is not a picture the Academy would ever have chosen prior
Yeah, but I think part
for
of it was,
Best Picture.
Yeah, but I think part of it is just how well it was received, like
And-
universally.
And I agree, and I think that should be something taken into account when making this choice. However, the Academy has been very clear to not take that into account. Otherwise, you would have seen Lord of the Rings in the Best Picture category years ago. You would have seen Avengers in the Best Picture the year it came out.
That's very true.
Iron Man 3. And they weren't.
It's amazing you went to Iron Man 3, but anyway.
Well, it was the $1 billion movie that had a lot of social PTSD written
Yeah.
to the point that people with PTSD were lauding the film as being a positive, correct view of someone going through. So I mean, like there were a lot of real non-superhero reasons to have liked that. It was written by Shane Black, who is a very famous writer in Hollywood. I just, I'm fine if the Academy Awards is making a turn here, where they're going to start considering these things. But if all they did was choose this because it was a primarily black cast and a primarily black hero, they've done nothing but cheapen what was achieved there.
I would agree with that.
And only time will tell.
Yeah, I agree with that. If they're throwing that on the list, not because they looked up and went, this thing did amazing, all of the casting has been praised, you know, the effects have been praised, like, this has just been, regardless of who you are, you've said it's a good movie, you've enjoyed it, it's been a blockbuster in every sense of the word, and then they look up and go, well, you know, we need to make sure we have a movie in there that, you know, has a minority in it predominant, or else, you know, we're going to get accused of favoritism.
Or we got to put the most famous minority movie of the year in there. So
yeah, if that's how they look at it, then
I'm not willing to call that as a definitive what they've done yet. Like, time will tell, but I really hope
that's not what they're doing.
That's not what they're doing. I'd rather see more pits like this in the future.
That's very true.
Well, the Academy has always been notorious for picking, I hate to use this term, but feel-good movies. They don't pick science fiction, they don't pick adventure, they don't pick fantasy.
Yeah.
It's usually
Feel good is in the feelings. That there'll be bad feeling movies like sad
right.
but Schindler's List. But yeah,
Yeah.
the movies that hit you in the feels.
the movies that hit you in the emotions.
Yeah.
They are notorious for that.
Yep. And if you watch our 1986 video, you'll see that it's big time what they did.
Yeah.
That
and
year.
We have to accept that the Academy is always going to be that way. They're not going to necessarily change overnight and start picking the films that a lot of people enjoy but don't hit what the Academy sees as the bullseye.
Very true. Very true. But yeah, you mentioned the PTSD thing, and we've talked about there being a connection to it, using that as a segue here for 2018. Heroes in Crisis again. We've used that as a segue, and there's a lot of flack has come on the writer of that for Heroes in Crisis. I mean, even so that I think, if I remember right, the other day they showed a new reveal of the trailer, which makes almost everyone kind of universally across the board think that he's going to make Wally West the killer. Which, yeah, there's a lot of problems with that. I mean,
Does he commit suicide? I haven't read. I'm behind.
I haven't, dude. Don't look at me. I haven't read it.
I literally got it. Dwayne, our comic book, Dwayne's World, by the way. You can check him out online, order stuff from there. But our local comic book guy's going to kill me. I've got to have a couple $100 worth of stuff sitting back there.
You've probably got a couple of months stuff sitting back there.
Well, I went the first week of December and I haven't been since.
Yeah,
you've got like $100 probably.
Yeah, you probably do.
Easily. So I'm going Thursday or Friday.
Well, you need to call him and let him know.
Considering
Yeah.
I've missed 2 weeks and hit almost $40 with what I get in my pull list,
Yeah.
it's very likely, knowing you've got at least $100 each.
Yeah, which is fine. I'll pick it up. But no, I haven't read to digress.
Again, I haven't either. I've told you I have not picked up a single one of the series. Everything I know comes from like stuff I've seen other people talking about online, or from you telling us about it. And the only reason I know about that cover is because there was so much controversy coming off of that cover. You know, I mean, for crying out loud, the thing's been nothing but controversy. They pulled one.
Yeah, they pulled one because of a dead character on the front of it. I don't understand it. This is, I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna. If I didn't piss people off with the Black Panther, I'm definitely not going to try and do it with my feelings on that. But yes, they pulled a cover because it was spoiler, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but I mean, everything we've seen in it, like this whole run has been controversy, right up to, it's even like minor stuff where they have the world's greatest detective Batman and arguably one of the greatest forensic scientists in the Justice League in Barry Allen, and the two of them looking at the same evidence at the same time, being unable to come to the same conclusion.
Yeah.
Let me say this. People that write stories are never going to please everyone.
Well, no, they're not going to please everyone, but
But when you displease more than you please, it's time to take a step back and think, are you doing the right thing? And this sounds like what this is doing.
it's very much it is. I mean, we've had people complain about all the characters they've killed off, including fan favorites like Harper, West, Ivy.
Anyway,
Spoiler. I'm not going to do a spoiler alert because let's be honest, we're on issue 6 of the final, which is like the final issue of this whole thing.
Well,
so
and all of
right
these
now,
show
it's
us
rough.
dead in like the first
page.
or suspected dead, and I'm going to be honest. If you
Anyway.
listen to this and spoiled, they might not be dead. Like we're still coming to. Is this like a alternate reality or something going on
computer
here?
generated fantasy or something like
Hallucination,
that.
Yeah.
whatever.
Because we still have characters doing things that they've never done before, let alone things that I would say they shouldn't be able to do. But let's say they're just rewriting things. They're rewriting a lot to make what happened happen. So something's at work. We don't know what.
Agreed. But
And-
otherwise,
If you watch our comic episode, you've probably heard this already, but we're going to go over it again because it continues. So go ahead, Joe.
I was actually going to talk about another comic that
Well, let me jump in here real quick. We started out on movies, and we got to comics real quick.
I'm going.
I haven't seen any new movies in 2018, but I'll tell you something I did do. And Joe is a bigger fan than I am, and he didn't do this. I was really bored one day. I watched the entire Harry Potter series from beginning to end, all the movies.
which is still surprising to me.
highly,
And I have to say,
considering he has not read the books.
as much as I dreaded it, it was actually not bad. I was actually impressed with it.
You should read the books. The books are possibly, well, the books are hands down 100% the best young adult fiction written in my lifetime. And they're in the top 10 when you talk about series. And for a lot of people, it would be number one. We're Brandon Sanderson's fans, and I think we all pretty well think Brandon Sanderson.
Well, you
Is
and I
writing,
did. John,
yeah.
John
Me and-
liked it, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't that I had. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it very much, and I do want answers. I just didn't. I'm gonna go ahead.
Obsessed
I started
with
saying
what
I'm
we
gonna
did.
go ahead and tell on the both of you. I didn't come back from the Marine Corps, get introduced to this series, and then find out that you two had literally made a dry erase board with. You literally had the crazy conspiracy theory pinup board. The only difference was it was a dry erase board instead of a cork pin board, and you didn't have strings connecting everything. You just had
Lines.
arrows and lines. If you had had the old school cork board with all the pins stuck in it and just tying strings to it, it would have been exactly the classic conspiracy theory thing of like, okay, these things are clearly this, but they don't match the description that we have in the book's prologue from like 1,000 years ago, but then this guy is probably him, except he doesn't have his powers like he's supposed to. So is he crazy, or is he actually the guy that's supposed to be doing this?
We did have a dry erase board. We also,
No. Do not use past tense. It's sitting right over there.
we also had a copy of the first novel, which Joa,
Dissected.
laying it on
yeah,
Joa.
this is coming to me.
Yeah, I'm laying it on Joa, but it was on both of us in truth. Dissected chapters by chapter and highlighted the parts we thought needed to be done. We had several notebooks. We were writing down quotes and things that we needed to examine and look at and decide. It's a fantastic series,
Nice.
and it's got a lot of questions, and we were trying to find answers,
Not saying that it's not a fantastic series. I'm saying I didn't obsess over it
like we did.
like you guys did.
I'm just saying that
Sanderson,
if someone like Brandon Sanderson was applied to a franchise like Star Wars or Star Trek or some other TV movie franchise, it would be a better world to live in, because his ability to track and weave large. And when I say large, we're talking about multiple universes worth of stories and everything that's involved. So you take the Harry Potter series and Marvel comic book heroes and then put them in the same universe, loosely connected, and then keep track of all that as you write 3 and 4 other series in that universe. And that's what he's doing. Now, they're not as diverse as Harry Potter and Marvel, but they're still as unique as those two are.
And characters cross over, even though they're on different planets.
So it's just a
some
joy to
magical
read.
way of doing it. And it really is.
It's a joy to read.
And that is something we read. But what brought us to this was I was talking about the Harry Potter movies. I don't know that I have seen. I know the books are good from what everybody says. I don't know I've seen as well written series of movies interconnected in a long time.
Let me ask you then, who's your favorite character?
To
And if you don't know the name, that's fine. Just
I'm-
describe them. I don't know who it is.
Professor Lupin,
See,
my favorite character.
yeah.
Of course,
Spoiler: he dies.
and I have to say one of the things that makes him my favorite character, and this is really bad on me, is the actor.
Oh well, yeah.
I
By
think
far the
he's-
best cast.
I think he's fantastic.
I'll give you. I think he's the best cast role in the entire series.
And I think the actor's good in other movies he's
Followed
done as well.
secondly and close by Gary Oldman as Sirius Black. And then the two of them interacting is amazing.
It is.
You can see those two being
Although I have to admit,
high school
Snape,
boarding buddies. That would be number 3 for
the
me.
character of Snape
Okay,
was
I'm going
fantastic.
to go ahead and say it, and this goes back to two things. Number one, because I haven't watched them all through, I have seen bits and pieces of them. But the other thing, and this is very telling on me, and I'll go ahead and admit it here freely on the internet, live for eternity once this gets uploaded. I literally did not realize that Sirius Black was Gary Oldman.
Really?
Really?
I literally had, I was like, I know this actor from somewhere, and until you said it, and I was like, no, wait. And I was like, oh my god, because he looks a lot like he did in the late 1998?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the pre-2000 Dracula movie. He looks a lot like him as Sirius Black, and now it's just like, as soon as you said it, it clicked, and I was like, I am an idiot. How did I not know this?
He's
The
very
best.
gaunt
The
And
best.
That could be it. It could be how.
for the role.
Yeah.
The best role Oldman's ever had, in my personal opinion, and he's had some fantastic roles, was in The Fifth Element.
Mm-hmm.
The character he plays in The Fifth Element is so out of character for Gary Oldman that it is unreal.
The Fifth Element is the role that made me sit up and go, oh, it's him. And remember his name. And then I started watching basically everything he's done and go back and watch his library. And it's like, this guy's good. And it just, now you feel stupid for saying that this guy's good. Of course, it's Gary Oldman. But
Yeah.
back then, he was not as realized. And, man, I tell you, The Fifth Element, if it's good for nothing else, which I personally think it's good for a lot,
Or
it's
full of
good.
smack over.
It's good for introducing the world to Gary Oldman.
I
It
agree.
really is.
Go
Go ahead. I'm
yeah.
sure you got something you want to say.
Continuing on our trend of movies, I'm not gonna lie. Like my pick for the favorite, I'm surprised it's not, as far as I'm aware, not at any of the award candidacies. Is Avengers: Infinity War. I mean, for crying out loud, we brought what 3 freaking major franchises together. We brought the Avengers, technically the standalone Thor universe as a whole, and then all of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Panther and Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, seriously, it just amazes me how big that was. Like, when they talked about, hey, it's going to be this gigantic crossover, I was like, okay, let's look at this. There is no way you're getting that many big-named, heavy hitters on the screen at one time. Even 10 years ago, that big of a cast with that many, not overwhelmingly gigantic names,
but
but
big names.
but big names. on the screen at one time, I would have laughed at you. I would have been like, it's not happening. No studio is going to shell out that kind of money to make a movie and not be 100% sure they're going to get their full money back. And I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty sure Infinity War does it.
Well, and I tell you, I think to prove your point, Warner Brothers threw on the brakes on the other side of the fence and is not doing that. I think that's one of the reasons that Cavill was cut
Yeah.
and Affleck was cut, because I think it's like a baseball team or a football team. They're needing to, let's cut some big money and then let's recast these down a notch because we can't afford this to flop by putting all of them into another movie again.
Which, again, is kind
Because
of what Marvel
Justice
did.
League kind of flopped
And
compared to probably budget cost of Aquaman, which they hadn't released at this time that I've last looked.
But again, like Marvel did the exact opposite. I mean, Scarlett Johansson, relatively up there in terms of.
Oh, they're
casting.
all A-list.
Now they are, but think about it. Back when they first started this whole thing, Robert Downey Jr.
Biggest
biggest claim to fame was being, a drug addict.
Yeah,
his
no,
biggest claim to fame
he
then.
was a big name.
He was a big name.
A huge name, but he was one that...
way before that, and
Was he?
then he fell on hard
Oh,
times.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Robert Downey Jr. was huge in his youth.
Yeah, you were very
I was,
young.
very gonna
yeah.
say, I was young when it happened, so
Yeah.
that's probably why. But yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
Put it this
Chris
way, when he was in
Evans.
U.S. Marshals, it was the fact he was the big name in the movie besides
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, not Wesley Snipes. Robert Downey Jr. was the big name in that movie.
Huh. So anyways, we've been talking about all the Marvel stuff. We really haven't talked about one of the things I want to really talk about, which has been the Spider-Man video game. It came out in 2018. Absolutely love it. The only complaints I have, and I really only think I have like 3, and 2 of them are aesthetic choice.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. This thing is a literal love letter to Spider-Man fans. It plays like Spider-Man 2. It's his New York, because that was one of the things I hated in some of the Spider-Man games. Like, you can swing all over New York. Great. I want to visit the Baxter Building. The Baxter Building doesn't exist. Why not? Because it doesn't exist in real New York. I'm playing Spider-Man. Why does it not? And I'm fighting Spider-Man villains. Why is it not Spider-Man's New York? Well, it's just not. And it'd be too hard to put it in because we'd have to figure out where it's supposed to sit in the New York skyline. Okay, whatever. I'll do, can I go see the Sanctum Sanctorum? It's low to the ground. You don't got to figure out the skyline. It doesn't exist either. The Wakanda Embassy? No. Latverian Embassy? The Avengers Tower? No.
We get it.
Yeah.
There was nothing there that was
And
Spider-Man.
I love the fact they did that. Number 2 is the web swinging. It literally is a perfect recreation of the web swinging from Spider-Man 2, which is so great. I loved it, and I'll be honest, they perfected it, because there's virtually no point that I felt like I was not in control of my direction.
Well, Joe and I I'm just going to go ahead and say it. We had a break a second ago, and Joe and I were talking
Yeah, off camera.
off camera. And we're discussing a lot of things that we did in 2018 that weren't from 2018. And that's fine.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because I'm about to discuss one. And it is the video game Divinity.
Which I think it came out in...
I don't know when it came out.
It released to a platform in 2018, I know.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Divinity 2 is out. I know that much. And so I think Divinity might be a little older. Divinity, the original
Oh,
sin.
you're talking about the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the first one?
Yeah, Divinity, the original sin. The Divinity 2, I think, is different.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when you start the character creation, yes,
It's Divinity 2. The original sin.
is it Divinity 2, the original sin?
It came out into 2017, but I don't think that it came to the PS4 until this year, which is what you're playing it on, I'm sure.
No, playing on
Xbox.
Xbox.
Xbox, yes. So it was a launch this year for console.
Okay,
Okay, so it counts.
it counts. But anyway, when you first start, the character creation seems a blessing. to video games.
It seems a blessing.
Uh,
Never
There
let anyone
are
say things.
a
It seems a
lot
blessing.
of options, or so it appears. But you soon find out that there are only 4 general types of characters.
pulls the old Final Fantasy Tactics on you, huh?
Surprise.
Surprise! You can play a wizard, you can play an enchanter, you can play a witch. The only difference is how many magic schools you pull from. Your beginning spells for a wizard, if you pull from the same schools as a witch, are the same beginning spells. So it doesn't matter which one you play. Doesn't matter if you play an enchanter if you pull from the same schools. You get to choose what schools you pull from if you modify the character. So a wizard starts out with flair, a witch starts out with flair, an enchanter can start out with flair. Yes, you can start out with something else, but there's only 4 schools of magic. So then you have man-at-arms, which covers your priests, your fighters, your knights, so they all have the same skills. Thief or scoundrel, which covers your assassins and your thieves, and they all have the same skills. And then marksman, which covers your rangers, your archers, and so forth, and they all have the same skills. So character creation lacking after the first couple of plays, or first couple of character buildings. Let me rephrase that. The game itself, once you get out of the city into the wilderness, the game is really good. Unfortunately, that takes a while. The city is repetitive, and you have a very long time before you get into the good stuff of this video game.
So, let me ask you a question here.
Go ahead.
Do you like it as much as you like Final Fantasy Tactics? Because Tactics has the same thing. There's basically one character class that's all powerful, and once you get it, you just level it up and copy it and level it up. So, and I know you still enjoy Tactics. Do you enjoy this knowing that you only have certain character classes?
They're slightly different. In
No,
flavor.
and let me tell you why. If I play a fighter in this,
Mhm.
I'm going to have to, if I want him to be pure fighter, follow one tree, the man-at-arms tree. If I play a knight in this and I want him to be a pure knight, he has to follow the man-at-arms tree. Now, can I branch out and make one of them a magic using character as well? Yes. But that takes away from the fighter side of the character,
As it does in any role playing game.
as it does in any role playing game.
So,
Tactics, you only get to choose that class. And with Tactics, for me, there were so many classes. Yes, they were very similar sometimes, but there were so many classes that weren't similar. It was fun for me to go through the game multiple times and choose a different class.
Who could forget the ninja that lets you throw everything?
Yeah, you know, the squire that let you just start out literally probably one of the best classes that you could start an RPG with.
And the most sadistic of all characters, the calculator, which literally lets you hurt people with math.
so back to Original Sin. Is this the game where you start off like crashed from Earth?
No,
Which game is that? That's Torment, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't
I'm pretty
know.
sure it
I
is.
think that's Torment. Never mind. I'm confusing games.
original Sin. Let me, from what I'm getting, because I have not finished it. From what I'm getting, you were literally a person who ascended at some point, became either bored, kicked out, whatever, back to Earth, get kicked out, as I said, or you get bored or whatever, and you get returned to Earth.
Okay.
You find out through your play of the game, you're there to investigate a murder, but you find out through the play of the game that the universe is about to be destroyed. Time is being, I don't know, cheese grated is the best way to put it. There's holes that even the deity of time doesn't know what's going on, and
I'd say that's a problem.
you start trying to fix it,
You got one job, Bob.
and you're coming back to your divinity. It's the way I understand it. Like I said, I haven't finished it yet, but it's the way I understand it anyway.
Okay.
So you have to go through all these adventures to gain power to come back to it.
Okie dokie.
But
anyways,
it's a good game. It's not as good after the first character creator or 2 or 3 character creations in that category as it could be, but the interaction of the environment is fantastic.
well, Joe, we've not heard your opinion on Spider-Man. I know you played the game as well.
I did. I beat it. I'm gonna be honest. My game of the year was a tie between Spider-Man and another game, which we'll get to in a minute.
Let me guess. Red Dead?
No,
No,
I
God of War.
I really liked it. I liked some of the leaps that it took. I liked some of the liberties it took.
Like what?
I liked that it decided to go with an aging Spider-Man as far as his career goes.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I liked the fact that it went with a very active but older Aunt May.
The fact it didn't cram his origin story down our throats. It's like, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We get it. We get it. Parents dead. Uncle shot. Tragic
Yeah,
backstory.
well, I mean,
we understand.
not just that, but Aunt May's not this like retiree that sits around the house all day wondering what her Peter's up to. She's
Phrasing.
she's she's got a life, and not even one that puts her in danger all the time. Although it does a little in this game, but she's just she's not.
If you think about it, and let me say this, I'm not a huge fan of the movies.
Yeah, but that was too young. That was too young.
Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, that's way too young. Oh yeah, too
Okay.
young.
But we also don't need one from like the Tobey Maguire ones that looks like she's.
Looked like she's 3 steps away from hospice. Like no, I just.
I was going to say 3 steps from fossilization, but
Anyway,
Anyway, I liked it. It was a nice split. I liked the idea of what Tomei's role was written to be, which is someone who's got a life, who's out and doing things, and is truly an aunt raising her nephew, not a mother raising a kid. I liked that. And you get that in this video game just from someone who's older, so there is still that grandparent vibe going on.
Yeah.
Just not as strong as the mother vibe that we get crammed down our throat everywhere. It says Aunt May, but Aunt May might as well be a proper name because everybody treats her as mother.
yeah.
And when they do Parker Aunt May stories. So I enjoyed that. So, but those were some leaps that they made. Some of the liberties they took were what happened to characters in the game
Okay. I'll
being
agree with that.
completely not continuity.
Yeah. I'll agree
Although,
with
you know, it's this with the Spider-Verse, continuity is whatever you want it to
that.
be.
Especially since we started the whole Spider-Dead or
Yeah,
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Dead and the Spider-Verse. I mean, the whole thing. I liked the way Rhino was done
Yeah.
versus some of the other ways Rhino was done.
Very true. Don't get me wrong. I don't want the hey. It's just he's a giant guy in a skin-tight suit, but at the same time, I don't want like they did in was it Amazing Spider-Man or was it the new one with,
I don't know.
or is it the new one where it's like basically just a full mech suit?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the one. Was that the one with Garfield? Andrew Garfield?
I don't think.
Was it Garfield? I don't remember.
The one where Gwen Stacy dies.
Anyways, the point is, I didn't like the full blown. Hey, it's
Yeah.
a normal sized guy and basically just a mech.
Yeah, and so I liked what they did with Silver Sable. It was not the character,
Yeah, it's hard to say.
but it was a minor. This goes back to our whole: why are you changing characters that I
Don't need
care
to be
about when
changed.
there's plenty of other changes that you
Can
can make to characters that nobody cares about?
Yeah.
Silver Sable is a perfect example.
She falls into the second category.
The second category, nobody really cares about Silver Sable. So making changes and using her in a productive way to make people care about her or have an opinion one way or another, this is perfect. Like, I actually, why didn't you make her a minority there? Like, why didn't you? That would have been a perfect example to have thrown. It's just a
The diversity argument we
exactly
had.
because this
but
character was not
major to a storyline.
in Marvel continuity,
Right.
but in this game, this character was actually fairly important. Was a badass. So this would have been a good time. Now it was a woman, so that was good. There was a minority, or not
Which
really a
she
minority,
isn't-
but there was a
which she isn't.
demographic that's not
Which she is in the comics anyways.
Used
Which
in the
is not
heroes.
used
Yeah.
a whole lot. Yeah.
so for combat hero like this. So those are the roles that I like. They did that right. They could have done that with a few other roles. Like the one thing I didn't like is the Electro that they used.
Yeah.
If you don't make that big of a changes, just go with the Jamie Foxx Electro.
Let's not go with
Let's
Jamie
not
Foxx.
go with
Well, I mean, but
the
like,
Jamie
just
Foxx.
Go with the one from the animated series where
Yeah.
he's like that one. That one is properly done. That one literally looks like it's made out of electricity. The Jamie Foxx one was just a
I would-
Smurf with lightning power.
I would have rather went. I get why they did it.
Lightning Smurf.
I get why they did what they did with the
Jamie Foxx.
with Electro in this game.
I'm
Oh.
Taser.
But
I'm Taser Smurf.
I always preferred the Shocker as a villain, especially in the animated series.
oh
uh,
yes,
oh, yeah.
yes, he was good.
I agree.
So I would have rather seen those roles reversed in some way. But
And I liked the suit. I liked the suit pretty well.
the suit was good.
Which that
It was
is-
just short-ended.
That
up
is one of
front.
my complaints. It's one of a few complaints. It's one of my only few complaints I have. Is number one, you go through this thing. There's like DLC and all. I think there's almost like 30, almost 40 suits for Spider-Man in it, and yet after all this time of finding all the stuff to unlock the suits, of getting the suit that you like, of picking, hey, I've played in stealth the entire time. I love the noir suit. I love the pulp look to it. Or hey, I want to be Spider-Punk the whole time. I love the spiky mohawk on the mask and rocking out on my guitar to stun people, or whatever your suit was. And then, big final boss fight with Doc Ock, you must wear the black armored suit. Why? Because it gives you infinite access to your gadgets and supplies. But if I've put all my points into it, then shouldn't I have enough web shooters to do it anyways? Maybe, but we have to make sure so you don't complain about the game. So you have to wear the anti-octopus suit. It's the black one with the yellow glowing spider on it.
I was thinking I don't remember being forced to wear that.
No, you are, because when I immediately went into the actual fight and tried to change it, thinking it was just for the cutscene, you can't change it. At least if you can, I'm remembering wrong. But I am fairly certain that I went back and tried multiple times to fight that battle in the black and red suit that you get for finding all of the Black Cat's
I don't remember.
markers in the original no
I
DLC.
played the.
Did you
when
download?
I got
content?
this. No, not yet.
Okay, sorry to say, maybe it was downloadable content that allowed you to change
When
or
I-
something. of that
Maybe,
nature.
but I don't know. I didn't.
I switched to the shell shade and I never moved out. I stayed in, and I don't remember being forced out of that.
Well, that's
at
the
any
same
point.
thing I did. I had the black and red suit, like I said, you get from the Black Cat missions.
Well, and the reason I
and
mentioned is
everything
that
else.
cell shade is very noticeable.
and very hilarious.
Yeah, so I don't remember being forced out of it at any point in time once I got it.
I might have to go back and replay it then, because I would almost
Uh,
swear
but-
that you were.
I don't know. I'll have to look and see. But I did beat the game, and to the point, what I think of the game as a whole, short and sweet, it it wasn't game of the year, but it missed it by 1 or 2 spots only.
Hmm.
And I'd say a lot of people have it in their top 5 easily.
Oh,
a lot probably top 3.
It's definitely in my top 5. Like I said, I loved it.
My number 1, to segue in that, was God of War.
I told you.
Yeah,
I played God of War.
It was only your second guess.
Here was the only
my
reason
first
why,
guess.
God of
Said
War
Red
won.
No, you did. Anyway,
God of War won Game Informer's Game of the Year. It won the Video Game Choice Awards Game of the Year. The reason I was worried that it wouldn't is because I do have a major complaint on God of War.
Which is...
The whole game, I played that game thinking this is Game of the Year. The whole game, up until the credits roll. And then I'm pissed off. And so pissed off and disappointed that I'm worried it's going to cost
Why?
the game. Because there is no ending to the game. And not just in it. I mean, I played all the God of Wars. You want to talk about a game that has no ending? God of War took that cake a long time ago. But this game doesn't just not have an ending. This game builds up a fight that never transpires in this game.
Oh, you're talking
You
about...
spend the whole game talking about a fight with Thor. The whole game you're talking about fighting Thor, and it never comes to fruition. And it is so infuriating that the big fight is literally the last fight, is the first fight you have. It's just round 2. That is so infuriating to me that I literally took it out of number 2 running, or out of Game of the Year running. Then, when I set the controller down and realized that was the end of the game, I was like, well, there goes Game of the Year. And I've had that opinion up until the Game Choice Awards chose it for Game of the Year. I was blown away. Because that is so BS. It's so cheesy. It's cheap, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's one of the reasons I don't like R.R. Martin's writing. He kills people off as a cheesy way of keeping people engaged and not having to worry about wrapping up his loose ends. Because if somebody becomes too troublesome to write, he kills them off, and he doesn't have to worry about how this is ever going to work.
Oh, yeah, the classic problem of, I've written them to be this big, this epic and things, and then...
kill them all.
Yeah,
kill them all.
Hey, this guy gets, hey, they get stabbed.
I don't have to worry about what they do after they win the... like Ned Stark being who he is, and how are they going to actually take Ned Stark down? Oh, they just stab him in the back and kill him. Then they have his head cut off.
Cut his head off.
So I just...
The one that angered me was
the swordsman.
No, the Stark's kid at the Red Wedding.
Oh, yeah. That's another one. Exactly. That every Stark death in that book, in those books, is that.
Yeah.
They're now in the way and got to get them out of there.
Yeah.
Rowling did it too, but you could almost see it had to come to that. Like, she had wrote, Dumbledore into being the problem. He is the problem. Voldemort couldn't beat him when he was at full power. He sure as heck can't beat him now, because all Dumbledore's done is get more powerful. So, these things sometimes have to happen. But, that made me so mad when I realized I had to fight Baller again, and that was the end battle. Oh, I was so mad.
And the funny part about that, for mythology's sake, Balder was probably the last Norse deity that would battle unless he was the last resort.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of
liberties taken.
Yes, but I at least like that.
To be fair, they did that in every God of War.
Yeah. So it's a God of War game, and it was pretty good for
what it was.
For what it was, it was really good. It deserves Game of the Year. I don't want to hear the fact that that's what the next game's going to be.
That's the case. The next game better be a multi-state, better be like the biggest multi-stage brawl ever between you and
the
Thor.
problem with that is, That's just a way to sell video games.
I guess it's
You
just
build it up in one game and make it happen in the next game so that you sell both games.
yeah, but
It's
There-
cheap. It's cheesy. It's not right. I agree with you.
well, but that doesn't work a lot of times. Like prior to this, the only people capable of doing that were very short listed. Final Fantasy was one of those. They lost that.
Yeah.
That now you no longer
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
Well,
especially-
Final Fantasy lost a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, it lost it up until Final Fantasy 15 kind of brought that back, and now they've lost it due to getting canceled. But the Hideo Kojima had that, and Konami screwed him, and now Konami, that Metal Gear series, has lost that. Now it's been transitioned over to his new project that everybody is just waiting to get, but it's a rare thing. And maybe God of War, because it did get Game of the Year, is going to have it. But it still doesn't mean it doesn't piss me off. And for me, it lost Game of the Year for me.
Probably made a lot of people mad.
And people don't think I'm crazy. The only reason it got Game of the Year back for me was that Red Dead Redemption did not live up to what I thought it should be. But I think that is its own fault because it was sold to be so high.
Really? You don't think it's the massively horrifying glitches that I've seen floating around?
No, because, well,
For a game that was touting its real physics, it's really fun to watch when you shoot a guy in the back. He drops, rolls uphill like 30 feet, stands up, reacts to being shot again, drops down, and rolls back down to you.
Get your stats.
I guess
Just pick up your stats.
now that you mention it, yes, it is due to glitches because I lost my interest really did start waning at a glitch, and it just took 10 hours more gameplay before I was like completely done with it. But I glitched out on a rare skin. The autosave feature robbed me of it. And I was so mad that I just spent the next 10 hours doing random stuff and not progressing the story. Just exploring. And it got to the point where I got bored doing some of that because you die way
Too
easy in that game.
Like getting kicked by a horse.
Yes, which is how I lost the skin to begin with. And so it got to the point where I couldn't even explore like I did in Elder Scrolls.
Wait, I want to hear this story.
And so
I'll talk about the horse in a minute.
I end up just not playing it. And to be honest, I've not played anything. Since then, I've played a little bit of Golf Story. I've played a little bit of Little Nightmares. I've played a little bit of Pac-Man. Like, I've played random stuff. It literally set such a bad taste in my mouth for grandiose games that I have refused to start something big again. Even though I've got a few things in there waiting for me to play.
Well, not getting off topic, moving possibly, I don't remember the exact date the game came out. But I've got a game in reserve. I'm getting ready to start playing. And the reason I haven't played it before now, even though we bought it when it came out, was the fact this game takes a lot of concentration. Every rendition of this game has taken a lot of concentration, and that's Call of Cthulhu. The game looks fantastic. I played a few minutes of it early on, haven't gotten into it yet, but it looks great. The problem with these games in the past, and I'm hoping this is not the case here, is you have to do everything right and in order to get it to progress to the next part of the story. And this one, if it's that way, they have ruined a perfectly good possibility. So, I don't know, but anyway.
I want to play this game. I am not paying full price for it. Is the only reason I haven't gotten it yet.
The difference being, I'm a huge Cthulhu fan. You're a Cthulhu fan.
Yeah, so I'm going to get this game and play it. I just have been waiting for it to come down in price a little. I'm looking forward to this game. I'm hoping it's somewhere in between Resident Evil and Outlast, with a little bit more RPG element added in. So I think it will be good. I don't know how hard it's going to be, but I think it'll be good. I've heard from a lot of people it is hard.
Well,
I take that with a grain of salt these days because most people are not used to hard games from the old school.
They measure it by Dark Souls, and that's about it in terms of what they call hard.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne. Those are what's considered hard these days. In my opinion, none of them touch Ninja Gaiden or the Xbox.
And it's like I told people, until you go back and you have like tried to fight your way through Battletoads,
yeah, and then Ninja Gaiden was the only game recently that touched games from the NES, SNES eras.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
The original Ninja Gaiden on
we're not gonna talk about it. Don't you wish that evil on us?
Yes, go play that game and tell me Bloodborne's hard.
It's like I said to one of my buddies at work. We were talking about playing pen and paper role playing games. He's like, "Yeah, I've been playing it for a really long time." I was like, "What's the oldest one you played?" He's like, "Oh, I played 3.0." I was like, "You ain't hard. Like, you ain't hard until you go on 2nd edition. Until you have been afraid for a 5-man party to attack 3 goblins. You ain't hard yet."
Yeah, 2nd edition was interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, that right there, that's the same way. It's like, oh, Dark Souls is so terrible. Really? Here, enjoy this. It's called Battletoads, and you're not allowed any cheat codes.
I gotta say, one of our group's favorites is one of Gary's originals, and that's Powers and Perils. Check that game out if you want hard.
Yeah, RPG. Yeah. Character building's fantastic, but it takes forever.
And it's very lethal.
Yes.
Super lethal. We're talking like,
but
rips with no mega damage weaponry lethal.
Yeah. On the other side, games that we mentioned Resident Evil. It did not come out in 2018, but it was hyped very big in 2018. I'm looking forward to the Resident Evil 2 remake that comes out in 2 days. If you're listening to this, midnight in 2 days, I should say.
Midnight in 2 days.
Well, we're gonna lose Joe for a little bit.
It is scary. The demo, did it come out? No, it didn't either. I'm just having a stretch here to talk about it. So they did a demo last week. It was a one-time playthrough. Actually, that's not true. It was 30-minute playthrough demo. Okay. Wherever you were after 30 minutes, if you beat it, you could start and play again. If you didn't beat it, you're done.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm going to be able to play it. It's scary.
You know what
It's scary, and the graphics are amazing.
They're scary?
Scary. Like Outlast level scary, and I did not beat Outlast. I had to quit playing Outlast and go watch the video of it played to find out how it is.
Okay, when you say scary, is it scary difficult or scary as in screaming like a little girl when things happen on screen?
Both. They do both. See, the original 2 Resident Evils were that way. After that, 3 a little, but Nemesis, if you're looking it up, a little. But 1 and 2 were jump scare and difficulty scare, and they like to combine those, where the jump scare is now chasing you, and the difficulty of moving is now causing your heart rate to pick up because your character's going slow or getting caught on this camera angle, or you're out of ammo, and now you've got to dodge left and dodge right, and you got to go. And then there's tofu mode, which is coming back. And tofu mode is you play a brick of tofu with no weapon through the whole game, and the only thing you can do is dodge and run.
Which I want to point out, didn't end so well, because I remember the ending of that mode in the original version, where you basically just wound up being eaten by one of the Umbrella operatives.
Yeah, so
Which makes me think, which
I don't think my heart's not what it was 20 years ago. I don't think that I can play this game
But we're going to find out.
and survive this game.
So stand by for a call from Joe's family. Got it.
Yeah.
Family, yeah.
You know what I really wanted to do? I really wish somebody would make it, and if they're not, they are missing an opportunity like nobody's business. Augmented reality. You know the difference between it and the VR stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Want them to make a Resident Evil game using augmented reality.
No, no.
As my friend at work told me when I gave him the same idea, he's like, you couldn't do it in the South. And I was like, yeah, because everybody and their brother has guns, and it'll be like, okay, I'm shooting my
You're basically
I'm shooting
talking.
my VR pistol. I'm shooting my VR pistol. Oh, that zombie scared me. Where's my gun? Bang! Oh,
You're
that's my real
basically
gun.
talking about how we got to Old Man Logan. All right, Old Man Logan was nothing but a bad augmented reality that Mysterio put on Logan. That's all it was. And if you do the zombies, it's just going to be that you're going to have a
Okay.
bunch of people.
For those
murdered.
of you who don't know what Joe is referring to, the Old Man Logan story run was a comic where basically the villains won and killed off 99.9% of the Marvel superheroes, and in it Mysterio is sent to take care of the X-Men. He does this by making Wolverine believe that all of the X-Men are in fact villains. So Wolverine goes through a crazy berserker murder frenzy on, like Silver Samurai, Sabretooth, bunch of his villains, bunch of other people's villains, and then at the end of it realizes that he's just murdered the entirety of the X-Men, and Mysterio is basically the only, and it's like, and I'm the master of illusions. The villain community thanks you. And then just poofs out, which I kept waiting for him to find like an aged Mysterio during the course of that whole comic, and he never did.
Never did. He
I was
must
like,
have died.
He must have, because otherwise he was gonna die bloody, like real bloody.
Well, let me say this. I don't know if Joel ever played it, but since we're talking about scary games, for me, Dead Space
Dead Space was scary.
was scary.
Dead Space might have been the last major scary game besides ones made to do that, which is Outlast and a few of the others.
Especially the scene, and I think it was 2 where you're in the asylum, and you're like the first part of the tutorial you're running through in a straitjacket, so there's no fighting. It's just run away.
Oh yeah, no.
That's basically their version of tofu mode.
There is it takes a lot. Well, it did. Let me say that. To scare me. Now, not so much. I still have problems sometimes.
Speaking of which,
Alright.
speaking of scaring you, and not a lot of it, Joe, I think our shared fear of creepy children in movies, I think the movie industry has tapped into this shared phobia of ours, because I've looked, there's,
Yeah, no, I know
it's
where
what
you're
is it,
going
it's
with
like-
this.
it's Prodigy, and then they're doing another one that is basically James Gunn saying, what if Superman was a psychopathic murderer as a kid?
Maybe the only one that I will watch. Maybe.
But yeah, and then there's, like I said, there's the other one that is Prodigy. It just seems like there's an overabundance of creepy murder kids in horror movies coming up really soon. But using that as a bit of a segue.
Nope.
2018, I liked Hellfest. Going back to movies, I liked Hellfest. It was really good.
In case you haven't figured out, we're just bouncing everywhere. We have no script.
Well, to be fair, this was just so that we had a video up for the month of January, since we've decided to push the comic book back and do December and January together.
Yeah.
To be fair. Yeah, I really liked it, because, I mean, it did the one thing that was really unexpected, and I think I mentioned it to you, didn't I? Mention it to you guys what happens at the end of Hellfest?
I don't
You
remember.
did to me
Okay.
about the guy going home.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like that's the big twist ending, because usually it's like the villain gets stabbed or shot or something, the cops show up, the body's missing, and he just shows him like wandering off or hiding somewhere or whatnot. Doesn't do that. He drives. You see a car pull into a garage. Somebody gets out, goes over to a box, opens it up, and there's like a whole mess of like creepy serial killery mask. He takes the mask off, hangs it up, goes in the house, and there's like a little, I'd say, if I'm remembering the movie right, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember it super well in detail, but I think she's like younger than 10, like little girl, and she jumps up, she comes running over, and she's like, "Daddy, Daddy, you come back? Did you bring me anything?" And he gives her like one of the stuffed animals that he got from Hellfest after he murdered somebody. And I'm just like, they never do that. They never look up and go, "Hey, this guy is not supernatural in any way. He probably, stitched himself up somehow."
He's just an ordinary guy
Or
with
he's
a family.
And that's what makes it terrifying, I thought. So I was like, I'm very impressed with that.
That reminds me of a movie by Matthew McConaughey called Frailty.
I don't remember it.
Matthew McConaughey walks into an FBI agent's office and starts recounting his childhood, and it ends up being that his father was a serial killer who believed he was sent by God to kill horrible people.
Oh, that's
Okay.
fun.
And I don't want to get into it, but it has a ending kind of like what you described, and it's really cool, really really cool.
Okay.
If you want a good movie that's not a scare fest, but that is a creepy thriller movie, I would look at Frailty with Matthew McConaughey, and do not read spoilers on it, or you'll ruin the whole movie for you. But if Matthew McConaughey, he's kind of does a come in the beginning and come in at the end. There might be a middle where they cut back to current time, but I think it's mostly beginning and end.
Okay.
The main star adult in the movie is Bill Paxton playing the dad.
Oh, great.
So it's got a good cast.
Okay.
Again, we deviate from 2018, but that's okay. We don't care. Along these lines, we were talking, and I look forward to this. We were talking about the year Hindsight Cinema that we did as a podcast. And I look forward to those more than I do anything else because, let's be honest, I'm the old man at the table, and I worked in 3 different video stores over my lifetime when they were still video stores that were popular, and I watched a lot of movies.
That's right, children. No more Blockbuster.
Because when they would come out to the video stores as employees, assistant manager, whatever, we were supposed to take them home, watch them so we could recommend them, talk about them with the customers, things of this nature. So I watched a lot of movies. So I look forward to those more than I do any of our podcasts. That being said, I don't know when it comes time to do 2018 Hindsight Cinema that there's going to be a lot that we're going to have to talk about, because I'll be honest with you,
I started to say, we didn't see that much this year.
But you
I
will
don't
by
know.
that point.
yeah, I will have by that point, but I don't know that there's been a lot out of Hollywood lately that really catches a lot of interest. Used to, you had the summer was huge,
Or Christmas time.
or
when they
Christmas
released one of their
time
big
was huge. Will Smith was dominant. Mel Gibson was dominant. You don't have that kind of Hollywood projection now. Do you agree?
I think 2018 specifically was a little bit of a light year in that, especially around what would normally be key times, like holidays or the summer. But that was mainly due to, I feel, some flops on the DC side and the general command that comic book movies have over the box office at the moment. Right now, you've got Disney and Warner Brothers, two of your largest publishers.
Battling it out.
Well, not just battling out, but spending the majority of their resources, as far as blockbuster movies go, working on comic book movies. So in the past, you didn't have you delete every comic book movie that has come out this year, and you've got quite a few dates left that would have been filled by what I think you're missing.
Well,
I could agree with that.
And
maybe.
so I just feel that's where the hole is.
I'm missing a lot.
Well, I
in
mean,
my personal opinion.
there's a lot of comic book movies come out this year.
Yeah, but I'm
mean,
just saying.
you're talking 6-7 movies that you would have. So I feel that's where it is.
I gotta agree with him. I feel like if there were less superhero movies, it'd be
You're probably
more
right.
movies out there. I think
Because you had a Mission Impossible this year.
We did.
You had your comedy movie at Christmas time. It just wasn't one we cared for, but you had a comedy movie. You had a couple others.
I don't know. There was a great comedy movie all year long, not just at Christmas time.
I think that was again a weak year combined with the fact that
So many
comic book movies
came
own
out.
the year.
Yeah. Couple of things about TV. We haven't talked about TV
That's true.
tonight.
And I'm not going to touch on that, so let's definitely. What did you enjoy last year?
To be honest, the only thing that I really enjoyed, of course, there was a lot of things I didn't watch that I got told about that I'm watching now. And I'm going to have to catch up on some seasons. The only thing that I really enjoyed, and I got to be honest with you, I'm not really enjoying it right now, was Manifest. I see you're writing down some, and you're right about
Just
the
because I
person.
have the benefit of going next, so I can put a little
Yeah.
thought into this.
You're right about the first one. I'm the Rookie
He's reading my notes. Yeah.
is good. I don't know that it's great, but it's good. Manifest.
I hope they have as good of plans for it as it appears they do.
It's gotten too religious for me.
Well,
I feel like they're gonna go into.
I think they're gonna rein that back. I think the religion is being put in by specific characters,
They're calling it the visions they have, the callings.
but I think that's the characters calling that. I think what they're going to end up finding out is that's reined in a little bit.
Well,
But I agree, they
I'm gonna
are.
keep an eye on it.
I definitely agree they are, but I think we're going to find out that those are those characters' interpretation of
Well,
what's going on.
I'm gonna keep an eye on it. And
Because
see.
I don't want it to be that God spared these people for whatever reason. I want it
to do His work.
to do His work.
Yeah.
That will ruin the whole series because it's been done and
Too many times.
too many times, and
Yeah.
it's just not original enough.
Yeah.
To tell you, I see that's where it's going.
Well, I
listen,
do
they
too.
did it with the Ship of Light. I hope they don't do it with Manifest.
Yeah.
For those of you wondering, the Ship of Light he's referencing to is the original OG Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, which was not God, but because of some. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to get into
Yeah,
it.
we don't want to go there.
But the new series of Battlestar, they went with the religious route.
Yeah, they went very religious, especially at the end. It almost seemed like.
And let me go ahead and tell you, this is not religious bashing, as I am a religious person. I'm just talking about when it comes to originality in writing, there's some tropes that when religion is used that are followed all the time. When there's plenty of stuff in the Bible, if you want to write fiction to go with, you could come up with some crazy stuff. And I feel like this is a little bit of a cop out if they go
Yeah,
that route.
I agree with you.
So
It's
I
a
understand
major
what you.
cop-out.
I guess I'm more optimistic,
Well,
but I could be wrong too.
I
John
am-
Wright.
I am very optimistic because we're getting into 2019, and right now, and it's early, but my favorite show is The Passage. Really good. A little on the emotional tender side for a vampire story, but it's really good. But as I said, Manifest
I tell you one
probably
that
was the big one for me in 2018. The Rookie was
Rookie,
really good.
Rookie was probably mine over Manifest. I like Nathan Fillion really well.
I do too.
I liked the idea of the 40-year-old, you know, having a midlife crisis and
The
fighting through it being a crisis and being a life change.
yeah. The problem being, it's predictable with the one guy that's in charge hating the 40-year-old rookie, wanting him off the force, need to get rid of
It's a
him.
little cliche,
It's-
but I do like
it is.
everybody. I do like everybody in the show. All the parts in the show are
Work.
played by actors that I liked in other stuff prior to going.
And they work.
Literally every actor or actress in this show I've seen elsewhere and liked them and what they were in. So I don't know. The writing's not where I want it to be,
No.
but I feel like it's going to get there. Like if you ever watched what's that Safe House or what was the movie?
Safe House with Denzel Washington and Ryan Reynolds.
No, the TV series, the one where they all were in like a house that the DA had an agent living in and the FBI had an agent living in, two agents living in, and they were all trying to do undercover.
They were doing the undercover work. Yeah.
It's kind of like that series, which I'm sad to say I can't remember the name of, but
Don't feel bad. Neither of us can remember it either. That's pretty telling.
that
yeah,
series,
it didn't last long.
that series, the writing was not great and got better midway through the first season, but then crashed after that. So I'm hoping the Rookie keeps getting better because I see some similarities there, and I'm hoping the similarities stop and it keeps
actually
getting
gets
better.
better.
Yeah.
There was another one, and I think it actually started in 2017. I was really looking forward to it until I started watching it, and that was SWAT.
I can't.
The main character I liked. Of course, I liked him in Criminal Minds.
My fiance loves him, and I can't get into it.
The problem for me
I've said it
is
before.
the guy that plays Street.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's supposed to be arrogant, but he's too arrogant.
I didn't care for Criminal Minds, and SWAT is very much written like Criminal Minds in some ways. That's a personal preference. I'm not here to bash either one, but I just, for that reason, I did not care for SWAT.
Go ahead, do what you have a YouTube channel. What other purposes are to bash
No,
things
because
you
I don't want
like?
to sit here and defend Criminal Minds, or have to have you all defend it, because I know you like it. I just not my cup of tea.
Well, I liked
Bones
it.
wasn't either.
I liked it when Manny Patinkin was on it. Fantastic actor. We won't go there.
A little bit crazy.
Yeah, the guy that played Hodges.
Don't get me on Homeland.
Yeah, you know, there was a lot of good actors on it, and slowly they've gone their way of the dodo. So I don't know.
Anyway, okay,
Anyways,
John, do you got any TV series that you've watched?
nothing that was in 2018. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of it was just whatever was on TV. I was just tolerating. Since we're talking about stuff we're excited about for 2019,
We're
watch
gonna
a few
get there. Hang
episodes.
Hang on.
Well, I mean, no, if you got TV, because I'm not going to touch TV.
Well,
I
go
think it's
ahead.
the only thing, and it's not even technically on the TV series. It's, Young Justice. I'm very excited for whoever's doing the writing for it.
Yep.
It's awesome. We talked about it before we started this. It's great. Since we are talking about
It might have started in 2018. I don't
no,
know.
it started in
remember.
2019.
The first week. Okay.
But I will say this, in regards to that, Titans just
Stay away from it.
yeah, like I'm seeing so many things that are praising it, and I'm like, okay, you people are either A, not comic fans, B, idiots, C, been paid for your opinion, or D, you are a employee of Warner Brothers / DC Comics.
Okay,
Because-
let me jump in here and defend Titans a little bit.
Oh, this ought to be good.
Not
Let's
a
hear
whole
this.
lot.
Let's
Not a
hear
whole lot.
this. I am prepared to dissect your defense.
Seen very few episodes.
And by very few episodes, you mean 2.
2.
We watched them together. And
We
you
could not get to the third
You could
episode
not muster the will to watch the 3rd episode.
because I knew what it was going to be about. And the character for me is horrible. The character for me doesn't fit. And I knew the entire episode was going to be about, well, I guess I should say 2 characters. And neither one of them fits or works for me. And so I couldn't watch episode 3. Episode 2, you have to admit, the costume design for Hawk and Dove, and even for Robin,
Oh, no.
was great.
I will concede that point. If they could get those costume designers again, there's been very few times I have looked up at Robin's costume. Very few times I've looked up and said, it looks like they pulled it straight out of the comics. They did a very good job with the Robin costume.
Hawk and Dove was a fantastic costume as well.
I just
No. No.
You're
don't
talking
like
about costume design in a TV.
I'm going to go
Yeah.
ahead and say it.
Great, give me those costumes as Skins and Injustice, and I'll be happy. But I just
I'm going to go ahead and say it. Glue-on goggles on Dove.
Yeah, but
The glue-on goggles. It was like they tried to do a steampunk thing and failed badly with her.
the rest of the
mask.
costume of Dove was fantastic.
I just didn't.
Anyway, the point here, I liked the costume design. I liked the character of Raven.
The actress
thought,
did a good job. She was okay with it.
I thought it was probably the best character out of the show. Could we get past episode 2? No, because the next episode was going to be about Starfire and Beast Boy. Because you knew it was going to be about those two. Starfire, in my personal opinion, was the most horrible character on the show. And they wrote Beast Boy to steal, I'm assuming it was a video game.
It was.
He went in tiger mode. That was either supposed to be the only thing he could do at that point in time,
Or that was a terrible
or it was a
choice
terrible
for a robbery.
choice for a robbery.
I have the powers of the entire animal kingdom for a robbery. Should I turn into a fly, a gecko? Nope. How about one of the largest land-dwelling carnivores on the planet? Sounds
Yes,
like
it's going to.
sounds like a brilliant plan to me.
It's going to scare the security guard to death, but it's also going to make it difficult because I don't have opposable thumbs. Wait, is there a primate that I could turn into, like a monkey or something? You know.
I'm sorry, you're just. I don't even know what you're doing here because that show is atrocious. If I give you everything you said is 100%,
Well,
that show is horrible.
How many episodes did you
Okay.
watch?
Look, I'm
I
just
remind
saying.
you, Joe did not watch any of them. He went fast-forwarding through episodes trying to find things worth watching.
I watched the first episode ish, and
Ish.
I actually have viewed more episodes than these guys, just not watched them.
They went
But-
fast forward, looking for good things.
But let me start off with saying I think that the Netflix series is trash for Marvel. I think it is crappy in comparison to what they could do and the budget that they spent on it.
Seems like everybody agrees with you. Punisher's the only one I think that
There's a
got
lot of
renewed.
people that will defend Daredevil quite well and defend. Well, I mean, because I've been calling them trash since season 1 of Daredevil and been catching crap for it ever since.
Yeah.
You
Punisher's
didn't
the
catch
only.
it from me. I agreed with you.
No, but the majority of people I'm talked to give me this. Punisher was decent up until halfway through the season. Luke Cage season 1 was decent up until Cottonmouth dies. Whoever's writing this, Joe Quesada's signed off on him. Joe Quesada's trash, first off. Let me go ahead and say that. And
Look, we're using YouTube for what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Trashing
I
someone.
feel like Joe Quesada's presence can be just it's
Felt
oozing
into the
through
series.
those, and so they're trash. But those are 10 times better than Titans,
And that says a lot coming
And-
from Joe.
and they at least the Netflix series tried to hit the comic books in every form possible, whether it was storylines, costumes, and integrating in with each other so that there were overarching stories. They tried. I just felt like it was a cheesy 80s level attempt in the modern day.
Yeah.
And I think
didn't feel like that because there was either a 70s or 80s Spider-Man series that was horrible by today's standards. That's better than the Marvel stuff that.
Well, I think when we look back on it, that Spider-Man series is what a lot of this will be looked at.
Yeah.
There'll be a couple of things like, you know what? I'm not even going to get into specifics, but the point being, Titans is horrible, and I think the Marvel was horrible, and Titans is way worse than that.
And again, it says a lot because let's be honest, there's a lot of big plot holes. Like, why is the alien from another world sent to kill the half demon sorceress girl?
I'm
that
sorry.
Was that was never really
Supergirl. Supergirl is a better TV series than Titan, and Supergirl is almost unwatchable at this point.
I don't know about that. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Neither have I.
We lost interest in all the CW shows, which is really sad.
You know,
Because they became repetitive.
I'm fine with them continuing to go just because it's out there. It's characters.
Yeah, it's characters and it's
it left
superhero
me,
and it's
but I
out
hope
there.
it continues to find audiences and goes on. The Netflix series is almost under that line. Right now, I'm happy that it's found audiences, and I hope they continue on the Marvel service, the Disney service, when it comes out.
But
just barely. It's almost under that line where please just cancel it.
And Titans is under that line.
Titans is buried 6 feet
As
under
I
that
said,
line.
just
I
say
only
Titan.
had a couple of things good to say about it.
And your thing you had good to say about it was the actress that plays Raven
And the costume.
The costumes. And
That was it.
I'm gonna fight you on. It was really only not Nightwing, but Robin.
So anyway, we're going to go on forever. Let's wrap this video up.
You got to finish your TV. Stop.
I would like to mention two shows, and I'm just going to mention their names. Bull with Michael Weatherby, excellent show. It is procedural in some ways, but the characters work with each other are very good. The character interaction is what's worth. The trial science is BS. Lie to Me did it way better, but Lie to Me's character interaction was not as good as Bull. The characters on Bull really worked together. The one character that kind of didn't work, they killed off. And I think the person they put back in her place is going to work out even better once the new season's shot. The other one I'd just like to mention because it come back and it's as good as it was before it left, and I liked it before it left, and that's Last Man Standing with Tim Allen.
I have to admit, I've watched some of the older episodes. Very good.
It's funny. I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's basically
Tim Allen's comedy.
Home improvement in the current world and climate environment. And it's just a good show. Like, it's a really good show.
And they make a lot of jokes about home improvement too.
Yeah,
that's something that I get. I saw a lot of.
So if you want a good laugh, I'd watch it. I'll let you know he's conservative. Not everybody on the show is conservative, but Tim Allen's conservative, and this role is conservative. So there's a lot of funny jokes as he deals with non-conservative world of today. It's just funny interaction.
And there's a lot of good actors and actresses on
Yeah,
the show.
and it's not liberal bashing for those of you listening. Trust me, it's really not. There are some jokes, especially in the early couple seasons, but it's not liberal bashing. It usually shows both sides need to work on things. So anyway, I want to mention those two, but that's what's sad is we're literally looking at The Rookie, Bull, Manifest, and Last Man Standing is about all we can pull together.
We can pull another one because I'm just now getting into it. Joel told me about it. He watched it the first season, which I think was in 2018, which was Orville.
Yeah, Orville, Discovery, Star Trek Discovery.
Haven't seen it yet. Need to get.
Those are two shows that are good. Season 1 of Orville,
A little humor.
a little too much humor, but from what I've read, that was forced on him, Seth. And season 2, he's gotten the green light to course correct now that it did well, and from what we're seeing, that appears to have worked.
I'm actually enjoying it, and I'm
so. Star Trek Discovery season 2, it's looking good. So I'm going to segue straight into what are we looking forward to most in 2019. I'm going to start off with hoping it's 2019 Star Trek the Picard series. I'm hoping it comes out in 2019. I doubt it. I think it's going to be a 2020, but maybe he's going to push it through quicker.
I don't know.
But who knows? You can't find bigger Star Trek fans, so I'm looking forward to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down video games and movies quickly for the first few months of 2019, because I'm sure we'll revisit this here more in detail later.
Yeah, we will.
So video games in January, the two big things that come out, there's a surprise one. Ace Combat 7 came out, and it has a VR with it, and apparently it might actually be the first decent VR game that really starts selling VR units. Is flying a plane in that game, a fighter jet in that game. Supposedly it's amazing.
The old one, the very first one, was fantastic for what it was, but it wasn't a VR game.
But so Ace Combat 7 is supposed to be good. They re-released Onimusha Warlords Remastered, which is really cool. But the two big games in here are Resident Evil 2 Remake, fully redone. We talked about the demo earlier. It looks amazing. They fixed the camera issues. They have changed some things up, so you're not going to have the events happen exactly how they happened in the original game. But it's generally going to be the original game. Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out end of the month, and not my personal cup of tea, but it's been waited on for years and years, since PS2.
No.
So I got to bring it up and mention it. In February, we are looking at Crackdown 3. Somebody knock on wood on that one.
Yes, I'm so excited. I love the first two. I hope this one is not shit.
So this was supposed to be a launch title for Xbox.
Oh, that's comforting.
The Xbox One. And here we are 4 or 5 years in.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
Metro Exodus, which looks
John talked about
amazing
that with me earlier on the way over to Joy's.
So that looks amazing. It looks like that THQ Nordic has probably made a pretty good purchase in picking up that.
Yeah, which I'm surprised they did.
I am too. Do you know how many?
Was it THQ that did all the wrestling games for WWE for the longest time?
Years ago, yes, but they don't own all of it. Nordic is the parent company that rebranded THQ Nordic because THQ is such an iconic name. But when THQ went bankrupt, they bought them. But actually, if you're listening to this, Game Informer 2 months ago, so I guess it's either the December or November issue, did a great article on this. But yeah, no, they own tons of stuff right now, and this is, I think, their first major release since purchasing all of this.
THQ did a lot of the WWE wrestling games.
Yes.
Back in the day, and
they did so much.
They were, some early ones were great, and then they got repetitive and old. And anyway,
but yeah, so that one's coming out. We will do an episode on game developing and publishing.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'll work on that as putting the other points on that soon. Far Cry New Dawn, Far Cry 5, disappointment. Red Dead Redemption, not a disappointment. Got what I thought I'd get, just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. Far Cry 5, disappointment. New Dawn looks like might breathe some life into Far Cry 5.
Wasn't the original, tell me if I'm wrong, Far Cry about genetic experiments? You had enhanced senses, stuff of this nature, and they got away from that.
Yeah, it was on an island or something.
Yeah, a little bit. Now it's just like you get hopped up on jungle drugs.
Yeah,
and then 2, you got hopped up on jungle drugs.
Yep.
3, you basically got malaria.
Yeah.
Yep.
And 4 was amazing with some peyote or whatever the Tibetan version of peyote is.
Yeah.
And 5 was you're just a caveman.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so 5 is you're poisoned on LSD.
So remember, kids, as cavemen, you have the ability to control animals.
Anyway, my whole point here was the first one for me would have been a great way to continue the series where you were genetically experimented on and you got enlisted to do things against mercenary units and things of this nature.
I personally think they should have just made a full-blown game out of Blood Dragon DLC, but that's me.
To me, Far Cry 4 is not only the best Far Cry game, one of the best games ever created, and I think is one of the best games that would make an amazing movie.
By the way,
amazing movie.
This is what started our podcast, is us sitting around talking about things like
this.
this.
This is our normal conversation.
So bear with us.
So bear with us. This could be a 2-hour podcast.
Give us a year and we'll finally be more concise and at least finish our sentences.
Be a 2-hour podcast.
So Anthem is one that I'm going to mention. I'm not personally going to hold my breath.
I don't even know what that one is.
It's basically the new Unreal Tournament.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to say. As soon as you said it, I was like, "You're not going to be interested."
Yeah. So then on to March, you got Dead Alive 6. I feel like need to be mentioned. Left Alive. The Division 2 could be amazing. Could not. I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. Devil May Cry 5.
Really?
No.
It could be amazing. We'll just have to wait and see.
What do we have to do? What do we have to do? Stake these games in the heart to get them to die?
Yes, you do.
These are supposed to be the fixes. We'll see.
Yeah.
There's probably...
Remember, tree good, fire bad. Just torch it.
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. It looks amazing.
It looks amazing.
Out of all of the let's wait and see, it's probably the one I would buy first without waiting. But I feel like it needs to be mentioned. And for Switch owners, I'm definitely not going to pass up Yoshi's Crafted World. You don't want to see that. So, April.
How far are we going?
Just not much farther. I mean, it's so early in the year. Any further, and you're just going to get 2019.
Any further, and you're guessing as to whether or not they're even.
There's a few that are for sure coming. April, Mortal Kombat 11 is coming.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I won't lie.
It looks pretty amazing. Right now, we have a date, not a tentative date. It's the date supposedly of Days Gone, which is a zombie game I'm actually looking forward to. We'll see if it's as good as I think it's going to be, but it looks really good. In May, we've got Rage 2. That looks like it's an actual game, unlike the first one, which was like a tech demo. And then...
Shots fired.
I don't think...
In August, Shinmume 3 is supposed to finally hit. And...
Wait, what is supposed to hit?
Shinmume 3.
You mean Shinmu?
There is...
very different ways to pronounce things, people.
Okay,
I can provide video evidence.
Don't even go down
it being pronounced by Shinmume. Well,
congratulations. I'm going to pronounce it how 90% of people pronounce it, which is Shinmu 3.
You can if you wish.
I'm going to.
But I've been playing these games since they come out. I can show you video evidence.
I'm going to start carrying a ball back so that I can keep control of these things.
That shows you it was pronounced Shinmume. Anyway. And then there was a couple I just have to mention. That rumor is...
Just have to mention?
That rumor is this year. We're going to get a new Star Wars game this year.
Right, like the previous one where EA canceled it.
We care.
But...
We don't.
This list was
published...
Star
Wars since Luke Skywalker.
This list was published...
Since the...
5 days ago, and I'm pretty sure 3 days ago they announced it was canceled.
Yeah, because I saw the video for it like last night on YouTube.
Anyway.
So, the last big thing I want to mention video game-wise... we are supposed to, honest to God, get a full Pokemon game on a console system.
Dude, I'm 53 years old. Do I care about Pokemon?
I care.
When John was little and he played Pokemon, I was younger. It was actually cute. Now, I'm 53 years old. Chasing monsters around that are Pikachu.
I absolutely care if it goes off of a handheld and onto a console system.
Yeah, don't do
I absolutely care. And I'm not talking play Pokemon Yellow on my PS4. I'm talking it's supposed to be a AAA version of Pokemon for the console system.
And
I very much
wasn't
care about that.
Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee.
No,
Okay.
those were Pokemon Yellow redone with graphics and dumbed down.
Whatever you say, boss.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, that's what that was.
Oh,
and what they're
okay.
promising
Well,
is.
I haven't played it. I've seen it online.
Yeah, no. But what they're promising is Pokemon like Ultra Sun and Moon, except with AAA graphics and RPG level interface. So it's not supposed to be a port of what we have in handheld. It's supposed to be their take on a console version for it. So it's actually a pretty big deal. We'll see. So, and lastly, I'm going to hit up the movies. 2019, we already have Replicas hit out.
Yep.
Glass hit out. Glass is currently the highest grossing movie of 2019.
Haven't seen it yet. Really want
Looks
to in a way.
Freaking amazing.
In a way I don't. Because
I've heard good and bad.
Looks
I have
amazing.
to. That's why I said I kind of do and kind of don't.
Looks amazing. That's all I'm going to say. Alita Battle Angel looks
Don't
good.
want to even think about it. It doesn't look that good
Yes,
to me.
it does.
They
Looks
finally
good.
found a way to make live-action anime girls.
Looks
Oh,
good. I
Lord
just hope
help
it doesn't start this whole thing of girls using contact lenses that cause them to go blind again
It will.
to get
It
big
will.
eyes.
Yeah,
Captain Marvel again.
Really want to see it.
Yeah. I'm
Looks
excited.
good.
One of my favorite lines from the trailer. How do I know you're not a Skrull? Boom! What was that? Photon blast. Skrulls can't do that. And I'm supposed to take your word for this?
Yeah, it's going to be good for some great things. Creepy movie of the year, just based off of preview, it's going to be Dumbo.
Yeah, we've done
I
decided.
stand by my statement, and I still have to make that meme. I have forgotten, Joe. I will make it tonight before I turn in for the night. I will make that because I am so in agreement. The Dumbo in the clown paint is almost as terrifying as Heath Ledger's Joker, if not
He's
more.
more
He's
terrifying.
more terrifying.
It's horrible.
He
What I want to do is
outstrips
somebody.
Jared Leto by a whole lot.
What I want to do is somebody take that famous scene of Batman and the Joker in the precinct where the Joker's handcuffed to the table and all of a sudden Batman
Yeah.
appears and put Dumbo there instead. And during that whole scene and just Photoshop Dumbo instead of Heath Ledger. Because it's that creepy.
It is.
It's that
so,
level of creepy.
So creepy. If they could recreate that on a person, that would be a legitimately terrifying Joker face.
I'm sorry. They can't do, and God rest his soul since Heath Ledger, they can't do a good Joker.
I think they can, but they can't do a version of Heath Ledger's Joker.
They can't do a good Joker.
They could.
Jared Leto was.
Oh no, they have not done. Jared Leto was let's do anything but Heath Ledger, which was the right idea, the wrong execution. Now it's like, ooh, that was bad. So let's do a version of Heath Ledger, and
Which,
that is
to be fair, they apparently have not learned from their mistakes with Suicide Squad, as not only have they somehow shoehorned Harley Quinn into the Birds of Prey movie to make it the Birds of Prey and the fabulous, it's like the fabulous emancipation of Harley Quinn or some crap like that. But supposedly they're angling for a trilogy of it, which is going to be Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn and the Gotham Sirens, and then the Gotham Sirens versus the Birds of Prey. I'm not joking, Joe. I saw the announcement the other day. Supposedly they're trying to make a trilogy of it. And I kind of agree with what the guy said.
basically. I'm taking the opinion: if Gal Gadot's not in it, I'm not watching it.
Well,
I'm of the same
I'm-
opinion.
I'm thinking of the opinion. Open your mouth. We're going to force feed you Harley Quinn. Is what DC is thinking.
Which is actually what a lot of people are like. It's like, it's like, how
I
do you-
could watch Birds of Prey without Harley Quinn.
If Harley
That's just-
Quinn runs around in like boy shorts the whole time,
No,
you
I'm sorry.
might get me
I'm sorry.
to watch Margaret Robbie then.
No.
But generally, Suicide Squad was really bad, and that wasn't enough to get me to watch it beginning to end. So
Yeah.
Ed, she hated wearing that. So I doubt they're gonna put her in fishnets and boy shorts.
And the
For a
worst part,
trilogy.
the worst part is, and everybody's going to boo me for this probably, especially you two. The television series Birds of Prey that they did back in 2000 and something, I think
I think it was earlier than that.
it might have been, was actually fair. It wasn't great, wasn't good, but it was fair. You could do so much with Birds of Prey, but you're not going to because you're going to force feed us Harley Quinn.
All right, we'll be on Harley Quinn all night. I'm moving it on.
Go ahead.
Okay, Shazam. I don't think this is going to be the one that changes it.
They
So
don't-
that's all I'm going to say. I
I'm
don't
gonna
think it's
say
going to be the
this.
one that changes it.
I'm going to say this. Whoever wrote it doesn't understand it's supposed to be two separate personalities. They basically put the kid's personality in the grown person's body.
Which can work because Young Justice managed to make it work.
Yeah, it's not
True.
working.
But they did it. No. Anyway,
Yeah.
It's
not-
Shazam's only saving grace is that Hellboy comes out the next week and is probably going to suck worse.
You think it's gonna suck worse?
Have you seen the preview of it?
No,
I've seen
I
the
haven't.
preview of it, and it's not the worst.
I hope you're right. I'm going to say I hope you're right.
I was more worried.
I hope you're right.
I'll be honest. I was more worried for. I've been worried for a lot more movies based on their previews than I was for Hellboy.
Yeah, Shazam, Captain Marvel is one of those.
Yeah, because
Anyway.
I hope you're right.
It's important to note that when he transforms, he gets the wisdom of Solomon. There's
Yeah.
no wisdom of
There's
Solomon,
no wisdom
in,
of Solomon.
in those trailers.
Yeah.
Speaking of creepy small things that me and John don't like, Pet Cemetery, which looks really creepy.
Oh, I forgot about that. I saw that trailer the other day.
remake?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
remake,
they're gonna remake
yeah,
it.
it's really
Yeah.
creepy looking.
It's. I'll show you the trailer later.
Okay.
And then Avengers Endgame, we get way late in the month of April,
Yeah.
which is what we're up to. And then we've got the Aftermath with Alexander Skarsgård, Keira Knightley, Jason Clarke. We'll see. It's worth mentioning.
Alexander Skarsgård,
We're,
good actor. Keira Knightley.
2019
Fair
might not be
actress.
the best of year either. That's why we're straight from the barrel here.
Yeah.
Now we're into
If it
April,
goes
May.
a little long, it's all right.
Detective Pikachu. It looks better than, for me, Hellboy or Shazam.
Mr.
I
Miner's-
want to believe.
Mr.
I
Miner's
want
creepy.
to believe. Yes, but I like that. I like that it's very creepy. And I want to believe it's going to be good. Based on just initial reaction, rumor is they've already greenlit others. So, who knows? I hope so.
Are we talking about sequels to Detective Pikachu, or are we talking about like branching off?
Other
It's-
pe-
it's
other-
like
other-
It's like Officer Psyduck.
Based on Pokemon Red and Blue,
Squirtle.
supposedly.
Squirtle. Squirtle.
Secret Agent Squirtle.
Secret Agent
Here's
Squirtle.
one you all will like, John Wick Chapter 3.
Yes.
Parabellum, I don't know about that.
So here's one I'm interested in. I really hope it's good. It was one of the first big Disney movies that I really enjoyed, and that's the live action of Aladdin.
Yeah, I got to worry about that.
I'm hoping it does good. Speaking of, if you listen to this anytime recently, this is January 22nd. Yesterday or day before, the trailer to The Lion King dropped. The live action Lion King.
I haven't
It
seen it
looks
yet.
really good. Might want to check that out. Brightburn.
That's the Superman murder story.
I hope it's good.
That's all that is. That's just James Gunn looked up and said, you know what? What if Superman was a psychotic murderer as a kid?
I'm hoping it's good. Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yep.
We're hoping that's good.
The last couple of Godzilla movies haven't been, so
We got Dark Phoenix is coming out. Men in Black International.
Oh yeah, with Chris Hemsworth.
That
and the
looks
chick that
good.
plays Valkyrie.
That looks good. Toy Story 4, we still don't really see much of it yet. They're remaking Child's Play. Talk about another one that we don't want to see.
and they don't want to see
The we being John and I.
small things that are.
It's creepy children.
Creepy
Just
things.
creepy children and childlike things.
Is it creepy children for you because it's creepy small things
It's-
for Joe?
It's both. I don't like anything that's in the category of child-sized and undead and or creepy.
They have nothing against small things, other than the fact that they are undead.
No, I've always had a
Original.
Was not that great.
But the remake can be not that great and it not affect number 2
Yeah, anyway.
because it is complete new cast. That's why I'm looking forward to what they do with it and see. So that's
Anyway, to reiterate, the last thing I've got to say, 2019, The Passage on Fox. We hope that it makes it to at least one season. Fox is notorious for killing shows that it shouldn't kill. We hope it makes it through one season and has potential for continuation. John, you got anything you want to add to wrap it up?
No, I think I'm good.
all right. Well,
We will see you
See
in
you
a
on-
month or so.
next time.
And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos.